Hi, I'm John Thomas. We are Channeled Messages of Hope. Welcome to episode 13. Check out episode 1 about how this mission to channel messages of hope dropped into the laps of entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley, if you're curious how all this started. We tell the story about experiencing extraordinary contact with the other side during our mediumship sessions through our friend Sam. And what began as one of those creative ideas that dawned on my wife Carolyn while in the shower for a book of channeled messages grew into a mission to heal our planet by tapping into the wisdom, knowledge, and insight of the other side. And out of everything we learned and chronicled, the answer from the other side boils down to each of us connecting our heart to Mother Earth and letting love do the rest. That is what the spiritual teachers told us during the mediumship sessions. They said that the first thing that needs to happen to address global warming and climate change is a spiritual change. Mohandas Gandhi told us it begins with recognition that we are one with each other and the planet, a message featured in episode 5. And in Chapter 7 of the Channeled Messages of Hope audiobook. St. Francis and Wayne Dyer told us the state of the planet is a reflection of our collective guilt about how badly we're treating our mother planet. Those messages are in episodes 3 and 9. Or just listen to episode 6, our Ode to Mother, if you want to jump right to the other side's messages about how to help her, how to be good stewards, friends, and children of the earth. The channeled messages give specific instructions about what each of us can do to play our part. And they give us hope, which we really need right now. And through the mediumship sessions, we heard many, many reasons to be hopeful. We are often asked about how we chose the people on the other side to interview for our book, and why the focus is on global warming and climate change. That focus came from the other side. They made clear that the planet's well-being is their top priority. And we chose the influential activists, scientists, policymakers, and spiritual teachers featured in our book based on our own research. But a few of the 19 souls we interviewed are personal favorites we had to talk with when the opportunity presented itself. For Carolyn, the main author and researcher, Wayne Dyer topped her list. While for me, a tech and science guy, it was Albert Einstein. And both of us really wanted to connect with St. Francis. Then during the mediumship sessions, we asked the people on the other side for their recommendations. And they surprised us with some of their suggestions. Like when Albert Einstein enthusiastically recommended that we speak with his first wife, Mileva Marriage. And the reason soon became obvious. Hear her speaking through Sam in episode 2, which we call Meet the Einsteins. And see the show notes for a link to the audiobook, where you can hear all her insights about the afterlife and her little-known contributions to Albert's world-changing work as a physicist. But the biggest surprise came from Nikola Tesla, when he suggested we speak with Samuel Clemens, the author Mark Twain. Carolyn and I could only be curious what the beloved novelist would say about global warming and climate change. And it soon became clear that Samuel is something of a Renaissance man, not only the writer of great American fiction, but also an inventor, patent holder, publisher, and investor. Someone whose perspective can help to inform everything that we do. In fact, Samuel met Nikola as an investor in Nikola's work, and their friendship formed around Nikola's love of Mark Twain's stories and the author's admiration of Nikola's great mind and huge heart. Nikola said, if it's hope we're looking for, Sam is our man. Not to be confused with Sam the medium, whose voice you're going to hear in just a moment, when she channels Samuel Clemens. So that's how Samuel Clemens became part of a book about channeled messages of hope. Of course, Samuel played off the high recommendation with characteristic modesty. Take a listen to this clip from the audiobook.
Well, I guess that he thought that I would be good to, I don't know, bounce some things off of. I'm no scientist. I invented a few things. I used to hang out in his lab quite a bit because he was just fascinating, and I was just fascinated by what he was doing.
That homespun Missouri charm shines throughout the conversation with Mr. Clemens. And as one might expect from a humorist of his caliber, there were many hilarious moments. Like, we asked him about a story where Nikola's invention, the electromechanical oscillator, cured Sam of a bad case of constipation. Known as the earthquake machine, it is said to have caused something of an earthquake in Mr. Clemens' clogged bowels, sending him running for the bathroom. We asked him if it's a true story, and here's what he said.
It was a true story. It worked too well, too damn well.
Samuel said that his friendship with Nikola shook him up in other ways, too. Like when Nikola told him that Mark Twain's novels rescued him from despair during a dark time of serious illness. It touched him right in the feels, as the kids used to say. And yeah, I know people stopped saying that a decade ago, but it does express the affection between these two influential souls. They both think that humans are being awful toward the planet these days, but there's something special about the human spirit that's going to pull us all through in the end. Maybe that's why Nikola really wanted us to talk with Samuel. Listen for yourself to what Samuel said.
But, I would like to say about what's happening with the climate and the global warming. I would like to say that nature knows no indecencies. Man invents them. And that's sort of where we're at today. Nature is pure, and man has brought this on. But I think that it can be turned around because man is also highly intelligent, and it's just that if man had created man, he would be ashamed of his performance so far with what's been going on with the climate and the temperatures and nature. Man is capable of many great things, and they have the wisdom to fix this. And I surely do think that we will. But I'd like to say that I think that what you're doing is so special because people need this hope, and people need to move forward and know that it can be turned around. And I think that, we need to be honest about what's going on. And well, I always say, I don't think we become honest until we're dead, but people ought to start dead, and then they'd be honest much earlier. We just got to face this right now, and we got to work on this diligently and come together. And I think that humor is always important, even when it's something like this. It's so concerning. We need to have a light heart. I used to say buy land because they're not making it anymore, but now I'll say preserve land because they're not making it anymore. But I think that mankind is also highly special and highly intelligent. And this is about coming together, being humble, facing it head on, and having some belief in our scientists and inventors like Nikola and all that's going on to turn this around. And I can tell you right now, I'm pretty sure this can be turned around.
What Samuel sees from the other side is also making him excited about nuclear fusion technology, a futuristic clean energy generator mentioned in previous episodes, especially in episode 8, our conversation with Nikola Tesla. Let's get right to the clip from the Channeled Messages of Hope audiobook, the same one you can find available at Amazon and Apple.
Oh, I just want to say that I see the world being a much better, happier place in the next 20 years. I'm very excited about this technology, and I see this coming to fruition. I see this happening for our world, and I see that once people get on board, as you say, once people get excited about it, and they see that all that can be done and changed, there's not going to be any problem with people feeling afraid of this. They're going to be so excited when they see what can be done. And so I'm real excited about what they're doing, and I'm real excited because I see people embracing this and seeing how things can change for the better, and starting to see obvious improvements once this hits. So, but I'm telling you, the world is going to be a better place in 20 years.
It was a couple years ago when Samuel shared with us his prediction that new generation nuclear technology will be adopted quickly once people see the benefits. And since then, there have been dozens of announcements of breakthroughs and initiatives to build the first reactors. Then just a few weeks ago, during an earnings call that wasn't going so well, Lockheed Martin's CEO teased the existence of a secret program to build, quote, magical, game-changing new technology. And there's good reason to believe it's a compact nuclear fusion reactor, because the comment was made in defense of the billions the company has spent on fusion research. And there are whispers that the design is so genius, 90% smaller than previous designs, because the company's reverse engineering program got their inspiration from a recovered craft of non-human origin. Now that would be game-changing. We can't say it is 100% true, or really true at all, except that we do know that Lockheed Martin just announced recently on their website that they are building a compact fusion reactor. But Mr. Clemens says that stories are meant to move you personally. Lockheed is now saying that they could be rolling out these high-tech energy stations within a decade, which probably means twice that amount of time given the company's history. But Samuel's prediction that the world will be a much better place in 20 years looks much more doable if we solve the energy dilemma. And that sounds like hope to me. Samuel's other message to the world is about gun violence. From where he sits on the other side, it looks easier to solve the energy problem than the gun problem, at least in America. He is especially sensitive to the school shootings and to the bewilderment of the souls when their lives end suddenly, and then he greets them on the other side.
I know that in America, you got a serious problem with shootings, and it's becoming a normal thing, and that can't go on. That's not fair to people growing up in this world. They need to have a fair chance. They don't need to be frightened to go to school. They need to be able to concentrate and focus and not be concerned with someone breaking into their school or one of their classmates carrying a gun. That's a wild, wild west. And that, I thought that was fixed a long time ago. Everybody deserves a fair chance to grow up in a world where they're not constantly feeling like a target. You know, you're never the same when you go through loss in a way that's unnatural. When someone in your life passes before they have lived their life, or dies at a very young age, or not really given a chance to expand in their life. There are many souls that don't get a chance for whatever reason. And yes, of course, gun violence is part of that, especially, poor, innocent kids that are just like trying to walk home and they're shot. Most of the souls I work for arrive pretty confused because they were just walking to school. Then their physical body expires. So it's a great shock.
Rarely do you hear asked what it must be like for the kid who went to school that day, having no idea that they were about to be gunned down, and then suddenly find themselves crossing over. We can be here one moment and gone the next. And that fear of existence ending for good is part of what's driving the hysteria and fear. But the other side says existence only ends for the body, and too many people cross over without knowing what comes next, or even that there is a next. Let's find ways of acknowledging what we know to be true. There is nothing to fear. We have one more clip from Mr. Clemens for you. But first, a reminder to please like our video and subscribe to our content to continue being part of this special mission. You can see the show notes for a link to grab our book, and in it you can hear the full messages of all 19 souls in Channeled Messages of Hope by Carolyn Thomas. I'm John Thomas. Thank you for being here. And now, here's Mr. Clemens' message of hope.
I truly believe that the world's going to be a better place, a happier place in about 20 years. And that doesn't mean y'all need to get lazy, but it's going to be a much happier place and a better place to live.